So now we're going to move into our accent on academics. Tabb Middle School will present It Started as a Seed, and Dr. Shandor, I'll let you share some information on tonight's accent on academics.
Thank you, Mr. Richardson. Tonight's accent on academics, Tabb Middle School teachers and 7th grade students will tell you about a recent project entitled It Started as a Seed. To share more about this project is Miss Heather Young, Tabb Middle School principal. Ms. Young?
Thank you, Dr. Shandor. Good evening, Mr. Richardson, members of the board, community members, and fellow educators. Tabb Middle is honored to be here this evening, and thank you for the opportunity to share this collaborative project. Our 2 life science teachers are fortunate to teach in beautiful classrooms, each flanked with a large wall of windows. Unfortunately, the view from those windows didn't leave them inspired. While a small grassy area was just outside, a learning cottage and parking lot captured their attention. This prompted an idea. How can our students apply their understanding of the ecosystem to design and construct a Virginia native garden for our classroom's backyard? Soon after, several plans for a Virginia native garden were in bloom. This project supports the strategic plan goal to engage all students in rigorous educational experiences. To bring their vision to life, our horticulture experts needed to draw on each other's strengths and work together as a team to produce the strongest design. Students relied on the 21st century skills of creativity and critical thinking to tackle design dilemmas and make the best use of the space. Please allow me to introduce you to the Tabb Middle Life Science teachers who made this happen, Ms. Laura Shaske and Ms. Sarah Wilson. Ms. Shaske will now share information with you about the goals of the project.
Good evening. On the side of our building laid a grassy area, trailers, and a parking lot. Unfortunately to us, there was just not a lot of life to celebrate and unite our classrooms. Thus sparked a seed in driving question, what would a native Virginia garden look like at Tabb Middle School?
We thought this was a fantastic opportunity to partner with experts from our community. We are grateful to Mrs. Jody Turner, Master Gardener, and Susie Engel from the Bluebird Association.
This project is not only aligned with a number of key life science standards, but planting trees and shrubs is one of the best things we can do for our environment. In addition to serving as filters that trap nutrients, sediment, and pollution, forest buffers also provide habitat for wildlife and reduce greenhouse gases by sequestering carbon that can be reducing air pollution. The state's clean water blueprints heavily rely on the practice to help restore local streams, rivers, and our bay.
Students were placed into 1 of 4 groups and given an envelope with a driving question and a timetable of due dates for various project components.
Dialogues, collaboration, creativity, research, and even debating occurred as the groups began to entangle their ideas into one.
Throughout the process, groups met to celebrate their work. As well, there's their concerns, ideas, and they are fertilized with further questions and statements to invite critical thinking. A thriving garden was beginning to bloom.
As we presented our project, we were given warm and I wonder feedback. Our final project consisted of a map of our vision, paragraph to explain the purpose and thoughts, as well as a list of items needed to construct their project as we were given a $100 budget. When projects were completed, we silently looked over each proposal and voted on the best of the class. The winning proposal would become reality. During the first year, students found that they were at a tie between 4 projects. They agreed to make the best ideas from each one and put them together.
Here are 2 pictures of students presenting their proposed project. Projects needed to include a visionary map, explanation of the plan, and a list of supplies and costs that would be required.
On building day, students and our families were invited to join in and construct the garden. Shovels, wheelbarrows, power tools, soil, mulch, and other needed supplies. Over the last 2 years, we had over 75 students, parents, and volunteers participate. This was a great collaborative effort with all who were involved.
During year 1, flower beds were measured and staked, grass pulled up, and dirt shoveled in. We constructed raised beds. Plants were donated by Yorktown Master Gardens. Students built the foundation of what is now our Virginia garden.
Also, during the first year, butterfly bushes were added to attract monarchs. We were able to raise, tag, and release monarchs to help with migration research. A bluebird cam was installed so students would be able to witness life in real time. Flower beds were built and planted featuring Virginia native plants, and along the way, this prompted awesome conversations about plants, filtration, and the wonders of our garden.
We again were provided the driving question and were challenged to continue adding to this garden space. This past year, we had time to think about what to add to the garden, what was missing, and how could new ideas be incorporated. I know my group had an idea to add planters used by recycled Coke bottles, and the rainwater would fall down and fertilize the plants.
The winning projects from Miss Shaske's and Miss Wilson's classes were constructed over a few days after school. We had over 50 students stay to create their vision. We saw a common theme of incorporating recycled materials from both winning projects, projects that prevented erosion, assisted in filtration, and improved a living space for a variety of living organisms. A pole was installed to house birds' feeders and insect holes.
So now that you have some background info about our project, here's a video tour of our garden.
In this little corner of our school, a bunch of magic in nature occurs. From habitats to nesting grounds, students find a need, create a plan of action, and construct, all while collaborating and using bouquets of creativity.
At this location in our garden, we get to see firsthand the beauty of nature. Our classrooms are wired so that we see a live feed of baby bluebirds as eggs are laid, hatched, parents taking care of their offspring, and in a few short weeks, witnessing them fly on their own and leave our nest. This last year, we unfortunately saw sparrows invade the nest and attacking our babies. We did not see that live, so don't worry. We learned that nature can be awesome, but at the same time, unfair and mean.
What I liked about the garden project was I got to learn about the ecosystem and learn about how each living thing has its own purpose in the ecosystem and how it all comes together.
At this location, we planned and built for a vision of vertical planters. A huge challenge for my team was to incorporate recycled materials into our design. We used recycled crates, 2-liter bottles, compost, as well as seeds. It is a fabulous example of wrapping nature with the use of materials that are easily accessible. Over the summer, water was not a concern as we placed pinholes in the bottles as it rains. Runoff from one bottle will drip into the bottles of the next level. Lots of thought and planning went into each part of the project.
A large part of our team's goal was to address the water runoff and access water in one section of our garden after it rains. We learned that ferns are not only a Virginia native plant, but a great source of soaking up excess water. We also use recycled materials in the form of a used pallet and planted ferns throughout the sections. Compost completed this project. Over time, the ferns will reduce and fill in the area, fixing the excess water situation as a part of this process. Any filtration of water that soaks into the ground also improves groundwater quality. It is a win-win situation all within our team as gardeners.
I really enjoyed this project because the students were able to build this project. It wasn't some construction worker coming into school. This was a student-led and made project.
The class before us, learned the beginning phase of the garden as the amount of milkweed has gone down. Due to the number of monarch butterflies also has gone down. How do we fix that? We plant more milkweed and attract other plants of butterflies. We now have monarch butterflies that have come to our school, mate and laid eggs. We collect the caterpillars when they hatch, bring them inside the school and witness the process of them turning into a chrysalis and hatching as an adult. Before releasing them, we tag their wings and turn in the number to the University of Kansas as data. It is important to follow. Not only are we growing and learning, but we are active part of research.
I really enjoyed working on this project because it wasn't planned. We got to work on it as we went and work as a team together.
Standing here at one of the latest additions to our garden, and that is our Tammy's Garden Pool. At this location, there are many different resources for animals, birds, and insects. Found here is a bird feeder and various insect feeds. A garden just can't have enough insect holes. Great thing, as this project continues, so will additions to the pool. Additional bird feeders with dried mealworms may just be next.
Students ask the question, how will our garden be watered, especially during the hot summer months? The fact is, there's not a spigot to provide water. Simple fix. Add rain barrels to collect water. This solves two problems. It provides water for hot and dry weather, as well as collects water to reduce any flooding conditions that occur in these areas. Perfect solution.
I really enjoyed this garden project because we got to do things that weren't just on a worksheet and that were in real life and that we could really experience.
Our garden project is just in the beginning stages. So much more is to work on and develop. Throughout working as a team, collaborating, researching, creating, we have built an area that is eco-friendly mixed with learning. So excited with what is to come in the future classes. I hope you enjoy our tour.
We have bird feeders, vertical planters, rain barrels, and flower beds, and whole bunch more stuff. But all of these structures were constructed with cost effectiveness, the ecosystem, and the general welfare of our planet in mind. However, this is only phase 2 of our project, so there are many more constructions to come.
To wrap up, not only were standards taught, but life lessons when it comes to the environment, working together, dealing with flood-prone areas, and projects that needed time to develop.
Not all of the time do we have immediate results. Patience is celebrated as our garden changes and grows.
Phase 3 will start this spring as students will research, plan, and create their vision of the garden. We can't wait to see what will bloom next as this year's class will continue our project.
Thank you for listening. We will be happy to answer any questions that you have during a few more slides.
Are there any questions or comments for?
Can you just briefly describe phase 3?
So phase 3 will be the same driving question posed to this class. We take them outside, we let them kind of look at the garden so far and explain what has happened year 1 and year 2. And then from there, they're broken up into groups, and they are literally given some creative time to add to the garden and start to plan of what their vision is to what needs to happen next.
Great. It sounds wonderful. So some of the plants that you had there, were they mostly just flowers? Did you have vegetables, or was it just flowers, trees?
It was mostly Virginia native flowers because adding a tree would take up too much space, and any other like bushes or shrubs would not leave space for future projects. So we use mostly flowers.
Okay, great. Thank
If I
you.
may, I was interested in tagging of the butterflies. So they grew, and as they developed, you tagged them. It was something in the video that I may not have heard clearly. You shared that information with
The University of Kansas.
Okay.
And in the spring, we will get the database of the tags that were found and recorded.
Fantastic.
So sometimes
Okay.
some make them, sometimes they don't.
Okay, great.
That's great. Well, thank you. Thank you very much. It's great for